surface wastewater disposal regulations. It's not a continuation of the state of Maine plumbing code. It's a standalone.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so that's good, because I thought it was like a reference within the surface wastewater disposal regulations. It's not a continuation of the state of Maine plumbing code. It's a standalone.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that's good, because I thought it was like a reference within the surface wastewater disposal regulations. It's not a continuation of the state of Maine plumbing code. It's a standalone. Yeah, yeah.
So if I turn this one off, it, we won't have an echo, but you won't, I don't think it's recording.
Interesting.
If I turn this one off, it, we won't have an echo, but we won't, I don't think it's recording. Another option is to, just record it in Zoom and then post it on YouTube later. So it won't be live.
That might be easier.
Do that.
Or it could just be a matter of turning down the volume.
But that's what I did. I turned the volume down, but I don't think it's on the record. So now we are recording anyway. So we'll record, it'll then convert, and then we'll have an MP4 file we can load up.
Okay.
All right.
So do we need do you need the citation of the regulation?
So which page do you want to grab? Is a lot of these citations.
Oh, I'm sorry, I went back to page 6. I was just seeing what what I needed to look into as far as updating any citations or. But
Okay, so give me 1 second.
let me see, uniform name citing.
So if you want to do citations, let's go back to the beginning and start there and go all the way through.
Okay.
And then we can go back and look at the handwritten notes as a second piece.
Oh, okay, and I'm sorry, I don't want to throw in
That's okay. I think that
very.
makes sense. Then we'll come back.
Okay. All right.
So the highlighted things are all the way up to, so I said on page 2, I will find out about the Board of Appeals official fee, put that in there.
Okay.
Thank you, Robin, for checking with Dave Madison and using the name superintendent is fine, and he seemed fine with everything that was listed here. But that's good. Our definitions of shall is meant, what was the other word that he said?
Will.
Will. Shall is mandatory, may is permissive. No, so, and will is directive? Is that what he said, assigning? So we can certainly add that to that definition as well. Shall is mandatory. I'm just going to put the word assigning authority. May is permissive. Will assigns obligations. Okay, I think that makes it very easy from a understanding standpoint. So the first place that we have a statute that needs to be looked at is in the bottom of page 5, section 2 or section 3, use of public sewers required. In part D, it says the owners of all buildings and properties, blah, blah, blah. When gravity flow cannot be obtained from the building of the property, the connection to said public sewer is not required, except as required in Article 5, section H, which would now be section 5, ABC, Article 8, or subset 8. Section 8. As long as the property is connected to an approved wastewater disposal system, which meets and continues to meet the requirements of Maine State Plumbing Code, and written permission is obtained from the Maine Department of Human Services and the Town of Planning. So feels like it's the one exception. It gives you an exception, right? So if you're below road grade and you can't have gravity flow from your building into the public sewer, you're not mandated to do it unless it comes under section 5, subsection 8. But you have to have an exemption from Maine Department of Human Services and the town of Canton.
So I'm in these instances thinking several of the houses on the downside going up Staples Hill.
Now, we have it. I don't know that we have some kind of a pump. We have no problems with our sewer. We're below road grade, and somehow that water travels uphill to the sewer. I don't actually know where the sewer pipe is, like where it joins into the road when it comes to that, our house. So I mean, I know where it exits the basement, but then we're below road grade, so I don't know how it's getting there.
Cause there's a pump station on Virgin Street, I know that, but that does not tie into you.
I know, I will have to find out.
Well, I know, I found, someone gave me the original blueprints for the town sewer.
Yes. I know you made a copy of it, correct?
Yes, there's copies. Did you not on your laptop probably, or copy it to a flash drive?
I don't think so. You do check it and you got copies made, and then I don't know that I ever saw it again. And the person who gave us those original copies was looking for that back.
She got a copy back,
Okay, last time I saw
but
it.
I know you had the flash drive for a while and I thought you had downloaded it. Cause I got it, copies made and a flash drive. Because thank God somebody saved it from a dumpster, the blueprints. Diamonds looking.
I know where my stuff is. I have the ordinances. I don't have anything that says sewer in this file. Let me just back up a little bit. Let me just look here. Do I have anything on the passport? Sewer, that's the whole shebang. Could be in a hard drive I've got somewhere. So it's
It's been a year.
Yep.
In the interim, though, I saw that section 3, subsection D. It's the department is now the Maine Department of Health and Human Services.
I will make a note, Robin, to look for these.
If not, yeah, I know. I know where the blueprints are and I know where the flash drive is.
Okay. All right, so that's the only time you can have an exemption, is if you are somehow below road grade. Now, there's other ways here that says how you can put a pump in and do that. So the top of the next page, which is page 6, section 4, private wastewater disposal. Where a public sanitary sewer is not available under the provisions of section 3, item D, the building sewer. Public sanitary sewer. The building sewer shall be connected to a private wastewater disposal system complying with the provision of this article. So, section. And the state of Maine plumbing code, part 2, subsurface wastewater disposal regulations. I mean, the state of Maine plumbing code, I don't know that changes. That designation. Now, Scott did not seem to think so. He seemed to think it was all fine.
You mean we don't want 1974, whoops. As far as the okay, wait a second. So what you're saying is where were we again? I'm sorry.
At the top of page 6.
Yes, yeah.
Private wastewater disposal, the state of Maine plumbing code, part 2, subsurface wastewater disposal regulations, I don't think that changes. Because we have that throughout here in many, many places.
Okay. Oh, that's right. The main subsurface water disposal rules. There's a there's a citation to that regulation. I don't know if that's helpful or not, or,
So that, I mean, in here are several references without any details of what the regulations contain. It just says you have to
Okay.
comply with State of Maine Plumbing Code, Part 2, subsurface wastewater disposal regulations, like, that's it. We're not telling you what those regulations are in this.
That way, if they change, we're okay.
Correct.
but, I guess my question is, when it says part two, what I was trying to get at is what is part two in reference to?
I'm pretty sure Part 2 is subsurface wastewater disposal regulations and Part 1 is something else.
But what I mean is, it, it's not a subsection of the main plumbing code, right? It's listing the state of Maine plumbing code as category 1,
Correct.
then part 2. And my only concern is that this part 2, that others know how to access that. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but that was just my concern.
Yeah, so I see a 2021, let me just put 2024. Now, there is also a universal plumbing code. State of Maine's plumbing
Yes.
code is based on the 2024 Uniform Plumbing Code, published by the International Association of Plumbing and Mechanical Officials.
Right.
However, the Maine Plumbing Code may be modified by the board to comply with blah, 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 blah.
And I have the uniform plumbing code here. And they have it by chapter, like, for example, they have chapter 1 administration, chapter 2 definitions. And because they have it in chapters, that's why I thought maybe it was important to differentiate. Because this list, so we have the state of Maine plumbing code, comma, part 2 subsurface wastewater disposal regulations, which I would suggest we strike out the words part 2 and we change the word regulations to rules and put in a little citation to those rules.
To the Uniform Plumbing Code.
No, it would be to the, where was I here? It's known as the Main Subsurface Wastewater Disposal Rules. And the way to cite it would be 10-144. Let me make sure I have my formatting correct. Okay, yes, I'm correct. Okay. And then it's CMR. And then it's 241.
241 or 20041.
241. Yeah, that, yeah.
Okay,
And then that just, that way one can just zero right in and we're good, I think.
all right. The next paragraph has another citation.
Okay, sure.
There's a lot of them in this document, Brad.
Yes.
This one is Division of Health Engineering, Maine Department of Health and Human Services.
Okay, let's give that.
And it just says that they're gonna supply a form. Now, that form, we do have a copy of that form. We have a copy of a form, I don't know if it's their form.
And the Division of Health Engineering, that's still the name of it, so that's good. Yeah.
So, okay, so that's fine. So in
That's
section
fine.
D of that same, or subsection D of that same section. I'll take State of Maine's Plumbing Code, take out part 2, to say subsurface wastewater disposal rules. And use that same citation, 10-144 CMR 241. And the minimum lot size law.
Okay, and I pulled that up. There's actually, it's interesting because we have the minimum lot size in the statute and we also have rules. So it's kind of interesting. If I open this up, the statute, the minimum lot size is Okay, this looks consistent. Actually, it's still Title 12, chapter, it's still the same chapter. So actually, maybe we don't have to change anything about that. It's let's see, minimum lot size is the name of the chapter, so that, yeah, I don't know if we have to change anything. But I did want to let the board, let the two of you know, there are also, in addition to that, rules. And I don't know if we should be citing to them so people are aware, kind of alerting them, or now that's not mentioning just the statute, but I don't know if the rules need to be as well.
Well, in the previous section, we say you comply with the plumbing code, subsurface wastewater disposal rules, and minimum lot size law with that title and chapter. I don't know that you have to go into the regulations.
Okay, now, I just wanted to see something here. Okay, 10-144, and this also matches up 10-144. So it sounds like both of the rules fall under this. Hi, Tom.
Good evening.
Good evening.
We're gonna go that way around. We've got a cord over here. You have to be careful because we are recording for the town records.
Okay.
So just, I can't unplug that board or even knock it apart or it will shut off. Apparently there's no battery on the computer.
Oh, nice.
It's not directly plugged in.
I just wanted to highlight that the that the minimum lot size rules though does fall under another chapter. Because the one that we had for the subsurface wastewater disposal regulations.
Diane, do you have a copy for Tom?
If not, I can pull it up on my phone.
I'm writing on this one.
That's fine, I'll pull it up.
I can make a copy.
Is this the one that you sent to Scott?
Yes. Yeah, I thought I had printed out 3 of them. But- Guys,
Are
Oh.
we live right now?
we are.
We're live. So it's a difference of 2 chapters later, meaning, you know how the first one was,
423A.
well, no, that was the statute, I thought, the 4807-8. Oh, are you, well, let me just, if I may just look over in this direction just to see how you wrote it in here.
Mhm.
Okay,
So you kept the main plumbing code the same as up here.
yes.
Minimum lot size law, may revise statutes annotated,
These are highlighted.
title 12, chapter 423A.
Here we go. You know how this is 241?
Yep.
This other one is the regulations are at 200, chapter 243. So in other words, someone looking at this one would not see any rules over here. Now, we don't mention the rules in our current ordinance, but if we wanted to point them in the right direction,
Okay,
that would do that, yeah.
okay.
Nothing is on. Diane,
I can email it to you again as we speak.
so yeah, the one that you sent to Scott, does that have the highlighted sections on it?
Yeah, I think so. I've only got one. Like one active document that we're working on.
Cause there's, whatever reason, mine's not highlighted. At all. I don't know why. Let me see. It was as a Word doc, right?
I can send it. Yeah, I have a Word doc. I also have a PDF.
They've updated, I'm sorry. They updated the Uniform Maine citations to get us ready for next year's legal citations as well.
Oh, boy. I want to know whose job it is to update the citation.
Oh, the law professor who teaches legal writing at the Maine Law does it.
There you go.
Yeah. She was not my legal writing professor. She came later, but I did remember the name. I think
You
she
want
was
as
in
a,
charge of the law clinics. Oops. Regulate.
All right. So Tom, before you got here, two things, Dave Madison, reviewed it and he said, even though his official title isn't superintendent, he's an operator or an assistant operator, and he works under somebody else's license. He said keeping the superintendent title in here is fine with him. He apparently didn't have any other changes. The enforcement officer took a look at it and said, I like that, this comment, I like it. So, he said that there's no other changes necessarily. So we are updating the citation piece to make sure all those are the right references.
Okay.
And then we're going to, go back to the one that had the handwritten notes, ask us to look at this, and this, and we'll put those in.
And I just wanted to show you one other thing
Mhm.
when it comes to the chapter to see like that.
They was looking for
Just
replacement.
As far as the formatting.
For next year.
Well,
Okay.
I mean, not those
Well,
numbers.
right,
That was-
right. Yeah. You can always take a
That,
screenshot.
too, I don't have.
Okay,
Well,
sounds good.
I don't have, that's still gonna give me the highlights, that's weird. Wondering why.
Let's see.
You can look over Robin's shoulder.
Yeah, I will share. I move my,
Your pea plant?
it's plurals.
Those are pearls, that's almost what it does. So the only other thing I'm gonna try to track down is that, okay, so we're through the top of page 6. Woohoo. Under section 5, building sewers and connections, I'll find, there's. The original copy I got from somebody is missing. Like a paragraph, it starts with an incomplete sentence, so I don't know how much of that original sentence is
Oh, I
missing.
was wondering about that, that blue.
Yeah, there's a sentence missing somewhere, now I'll go back and see if it's on the back side of a previous page or something, I didn't see it on any of the copies I had, but I'll look again.
Well, you know, what we could do is, again, we could plug in that sentence to see what
Okay.
that should be.
Great.
So I'll do that. Let's see, administrative regulation citation format. Okay. That will be, I'm sending you that as screenshot.
Ryan, change your screen.
I don't hear you seeing my email.
Okay, that's coming your way. And then let's see, connections with or opening into use. Or disturb. Okay, so it says. If it's like the town of Camden, which was the first one to pop up,
Which,
He's in section
Okay.
5, the very first article A, we're looking for, item A, we're looking for that, what filled in that gap in that sentence.
right, and that would be. No unauthorized person shall uncover, comma, make any, and then it picks up with connections.
Shall uncover,
Mm-hmm,
comma,
comma, make any. And then it picks right up from there.
or make any, right?
It's,
Oh, or just, there's more ors, okay, we're good, we're good.
oh,
okay, uncover or,
Uncover, make any connections with or opening into, use, alter, or disturb any public sewer or appurtenance thereof without first obtaining written permission. Brad, you are incredibly useful.
well, I try.
You're a very useful engine, says Thomas the Tank Engine.
Oh.
All right, I'm saving it. Okay, good, good, good. All right, in that same paragraph. Any person proposing a new discharge into the system or a substantial change in the volume or character of pollutants that are being discharged shall notify the superintendent at least 45 days prior to the proposed change or connection and shall comply with Maine revised statutes. Title 38, Chapter 3, Subchapter 1, Section 361.
Okay, let's check that out. 38 MRS. 361. Oops, 361. Okay, it talks about discharge, so that looks promising. But it's just the definition section, so maybe we need et sec or something to indicate the subsequent.
Did you go over down to Subchapter 1, Section 361?
I actually jumped right to section 361, and it says it's in subchapter 1 and it's in chapter 3.
Okay.
Yep, so we're in the right section, but well, actually,
It
guess
just says we have to comply with, the notification has to comply with that.
section 361 is actually repealed, but there is a section 361-cap A that picks it up again. Meaning section 361 was about organization, compensation, meetings, duties. But if we look that whole article 1 starts off in section 361 and goes all the way to section 372. So what I'm proposing we say is that we start off with section 361-cap A and then we put et sec, SEQ period.
So ETSEQ.
Yeah, they're separate, like et is one, and yeah. Yeah, I figured you'd know that.
My Latin is limited, but I do know that one.
Okay, so that will cover the whole, all those subsequent sections.
Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so the bottom of page 6, nothing. Top of page 7, superintendent. In item D, I'm just gonna double check section, that would be section 12, not Roman numerals. We're down to part F on page 7. The building sewer installations shall be tar coated, blah, 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 extra cast iron soil pipes shall conform to American Society for Testing Material ASTM spec 847 and ASA spec 40.1.
Okay,
CBC pipes shall meet the requirements of ASTM designations. A lot of those don't change. I mean, once you've designated a pipe as a D2665 pipe, that's it.
Yeah.
And then you may not, depends on whether you're allowed to use it or not, but that designation doesn't really change.
I do see a typo though. I mean,
Yes.
that one would not know unless I started typing American Society for Testing and material being singular, and it says S for
Yeah.
materials. So
Thank you.
you're welcome.
I've always called it ASTM. I just never actually used the word.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking they might have used that in engineering, right? And then,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, so Dave and Scott both did not cite any changes to that, but we, as long as we're in the right.
From my understanding, Canton is all PVC.
Hmm.
Cause it's that new.
So the next citation is under item H, same page. Cleanouts shall be provided for as required by the Maine State Plumbing Code, Part 2, Section 6.4, 1978.
Okay, now for the cleanouts, when I've put in, let's see, clean out. The whole section of cleanouts is, well, there are two actually. There's 707.0 and 719.0. I mean, 0.0 meaning there's more following it, but
In the Maine State Plumbing Code?
no, in the uniform. But
Oh, that's right.
so I don't know to what extent, because I know we were looking into that. It almost looked like Maine referred to this book, but then again, does Maine do any like little shall we say departures from that? And that
That I don't know.
So we still, prior to this, we referred to the state of Maine's plumbing code.
Right,
Here we talk about Maine state plumbing code, state of Maine plumbing code.
right.
Part two, which is the same section that we took part two out last time. And we gave it a title. Can we find? That sentence, the depth of the building sewers? Or?
Oh, yeah, yeah, maybe another
Or
town, yeah,
even just the
let's,
sentence that says clean out shall be provided for as required. And see where that goes.
okay. That's a good idea, I like it. Shall be provided. It's required. Maybe back this up. I'm not pulling up a town that uses those, that, oh, actually. I'm just seeing Topsums. Cleanouts must be provided. Pressure. That's different. I'm sorry. But Topsum though, they, for their cleanouts, they have here 2021 Uniform Plumbing Code. So,
2024.
well, they have 2021, now, I don't know when the last time, let me see, if
think I
they,
found 2024 on.
they did update it. Okay,
Let me ask
they
Scott. that.
might.
Can ask Scott, he should know, right?
Well, yeah, and you're right, there is a 2024 Uniform Plumbing Code as well. Yep. Oh, so I don't know if those clean out numbers I gave you might be wrong. So
Well, you gave him so fast, I'm not sure I wrote them
oh,
down.
okay. All right, okay, well.
So if you read me what you have again, I will double check.
Okay, so
Cleanup
let's
shall be
see.
provided for as required by.
And then let's see, clean out and clean outs. Say.
Plumbing code 707.0 or something.
Yeah, let me give that a try to see if that is still in place. Page 25. Okay, here we go. So 707 is still, well, it's still talking about cleanouts. So 707.0, it seems like that's consistent. What was the second number I gave? I forgot.
I don't have that.
Oh, I remember there was another that I thought there were two on the other page.
I've started, we'll check that one out. The next requirement is in item J, the bottom of the same page.
Can I make a comment? So there's one I just found for the town of North Berwick, and
Mhm.
for that main, what did it say?
Well, we have the uniform plumbing code, we also have the Maine state plumbing code, state of Maine plumbing code.
Well, in their ordinance, they put Main State Plumbing Code Part 2. But then they. Part 2 and then just broke latest edition
Oh,
and didn't,
Oh, that is good. Because it would always change.
right?
yes, ours is dated 1978, and I hate to put any date on it, you're right, latest edition.
That's a good
I'm
idea.
happy, very happy with
That's a
that.
good idea.
Thank you, Tom.
Well,
Item J, at the bottom of the same page, pipe laying and backfill should be performed in accordance with ASTM C12. Except that no backfill shall be placed until the work has been inspected. I think that's fine. I don't think that changes. The next reference is not until 8, not until the top of page 9. So we're talking about, stormwater, unpolluted drainage, unpolluted industrial cooling water. Or processed waters may be discharged on approval of the superintendent to a storm sewer or natural outlet at the and the discharge shall comply with Maine revised statutes and its title 38, chapter 3, section 413.
That's still good. Waste discharge licenses. Mhm.
See a couple typos there, like corrections on.
Oh, yeah, statures.
All right, the next one, we already went down and reviewed item D, which was the 1 horsepower. It's a couple typos in that. Kept going down. The next reference. Third party reference is on. The bottom of page 10. And I'm just gonna check, that's really our notation, section 4, article or subsection, that would be E. I'll just make sure all those articles and section numbers are correct. That's also at the top of page 11, I'll double check those. So the next third party reference is not until
Page 13. And that statute is still good.
I think we're, well, in article K. Under this same
Oh, okay, Article K.
section. Page 12. Said all measures, tests, and analysis of the characteristics of water and pollutants to which reference is made in this ordinance shall be determined in accordance with the latest edition of standard methods for the examination of water and wastewater.
Okay.
Published by the American Public Health Association shall be determined at the structure as required, article blah, blah, blah. We are zooming through this, people.
That's great.
Okay, in the middle of that paragraph, there's a word I'm assuming missing. It says, and should be to determine. It's
In-
just a T.
Are we in K? Item K?
Yes, about middle of
To
it.
determine, got it. Yeah, I've not done a detailed spell check through
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, because there's some might be. Yes.
All right. The next one is the end of, or middle page 13, section 7. Sewer extensions. Under item B at the very end, the cost of sewer extension thus made shall be absorbed by the developers or the property owners, including all building sewers and the discharge shall comply with MRSA chapter 3, section 413.
Waste discharge licenses, and that's still good.
Okay.
Yes.
Sewer design must be approved by the Maine Department of Environmental Protection, shall be in accordance with the following provisions. Those are mostly ASTM standards. Which we don't change. I'm just double checking some of the section numbers in here. We'll have to. I will double check all those. There's no external references there. Manufacturing references a wire T-branch fittings. I don't think any of that really changes. Up, the next one's on the top of page 14. The design shall be made as outlined in chapter whatever of the, chapter 9 of the Water Pollution Control Federation's Manual of Practice, number 9, design and construction of sanitary storm sewers. At the top of page 14, it's not highlighted in yellow.
Oh, the name of this manual, you mean?
Yep,
Okay, let's.
Who knew there was a Water Pollution Control Federation, manual of practice.
Sounds like good reading
I'll have to put it, I was
material.
thinking I'll put it right next to my murder mystery. Read before I go to bed.
I wonder what their conventions are like, you know,
I was going to say,
such a niche area.
you know, Dave Madison is willing to explain things at any time to anyone.
Good, I
If
may
anybody
have to
wants
come
to
over and
go
look,
visit,
I may have to come over and look at my barn to see if we're gonna put sewer in there, how we're gonna get it from the barn, the road, and how my house is getting to the road when it's below road grade. I don't understand how.
Yeah.
Maybe the sewer is actually sunk so far down
that it
that it is a downward flow.
maybe at an angle.
You can buy that book on Amazon, Design and Construction of Sanitary and Storm Sewers.
So there's nothing pumping it up, like in the case of my grandparents, I think there's something that,
I don't believe my house has a pump, but I'm thinking that maybe the sewer pipe is low enough below the road grade that it has a downward slope, but our barn is further down there. I don't think that's, I think we have to put a pump.
oh, yes.
Which if we actually ever. All right, ASTM standards do not change. That is 14. Page 15. I'm sure, Robin, you're reading this in great depth to check for any other typos. I will run a spell check before we for the next round, but I'm thinking we're close enough, we might be able to submit this to the select board, so they can send it out for legal review, who will also look at it with a fine tooth comb.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a riveting topic.
It is. I don't see any additional third-party references until we get to page 16. Under,
Oh, I saw something though, I just wanted to draw to your attention. The last line on page 15, it looks like we were trying to put 12 in parentheses for the months. The very last line, it says 12, and then it has 912 close parentheses. So, oh, you're welcome. Section 830.
so it'd be in section 9A. Again, main revised statutes annotated, title 17A, chapter 33, section 806. Oh, so this is,
Criminal mischief,
yeah, any person violating the provision shall be subject to arrest under the charge of criminal mischief.
and that is still the criminal mischief statute.
As set forth
Mhm.
in. Is Main District Court Division of North Oxford the jurisdiction? Or should
It
we
would
just
be-
say the
yes.
appropriate?
No, that's correct.
I
I
think
mean,
I
that,
have-
that's the district court, but, well, here's the thing, what we need to revise from. It's now the criminal cases are actually in what we call the Oxford criminal docket, meaning this is before the rules changed for the uniform, the main rules of unified criminal procedure, I'm sorry. And so it's actually the court, and this is in the captions, that would be actually the Oxford criminal docket, because we don't transfer cases anymore on paper from the district court to the superior court. In practice, we do, meaning people are actually going into the district court, but that's not, the court itself has a different name when it's listening to court cases.
Can we say the Oxford criminal docket will have jurisdiction of prosecutions? Because that's not really a body that can have, is it?
It is, I mean, you have the district court, you have the superior court, but when the courts are hearing criminal cases, it's the Oxford,
Criminal docket.
the Oxford criminal docket, and I can actually, let me see if I
thought a docket was just basically the schedule or the list of things to do. And so it feels like the docket doesn't have jurisdiction, but the Main District Court Division of North Oxford has the jurisdiction.
I'm what I'm doing right now, just to be sure, is I'm pulling up the main rules of unified criminal procedure. And then what I'm I'm gonna put the phrase criminal docket. Okay, the unified criminal initial proceedings in the unified criminal docket. So let's see, that's rule 5. I just want to make sure that I don't lead anybody astray. Okay, so rule 5. Just make sure I get to rule 5. Let me just scroll, that might be easier.
While he's doing that, I did find another typo.
Yep.
On that section where it had the 912 months,
Yes,
bottom of page 15, that next sentence, the guarantee. Then on the page 16 shall be in the form of,
I see
A-
a stray comma in there.
yeah,
Yes. Cool, thank you. I know with my
Okay,
typing skills, I'm sure this is.
I just wanted. First, the rule replaces all references to the superior court or the district court with the words unified criminal docket.
All right,
Um,
you got it.
Okay, I know it sounds weird because the docket, the docket record, that's,
Yep.
yeah, so I can see that.
You got it. Learn something new every day. On page 17, we are keeping the fines and amount determined by the select board. I don't know that we need to refer to the fee schedule necessarily. And it was, we have a fee and fine. I don't think they put fines on there necessarily.
Hmm.
Same thing under item E on section 11 penalties. I'm gonna replace that with the unified criminal docket as well.
And I would say too, if we put in like, because of the jurisdiction, if we put Oxford, just as a reminder, ahead of that phrase. The Oxford Unified Criminal Docket, that would help. I mean.
Yeah.
Even though I know it's like.
Okay.
Everyone would hopefully know we're in Oxford County, but just in case,
That's right. That's right.
In fact, they've actually moved the arraignments out of Rumford and have moved them to South Paris. I don't know if that's a temporary measure, but it's less and less they're using the Rumford courthouse, except for
Well,
like.
where do they
oh,
close down the police?
Oh,
Mexico.
Dick's
Oh,
Feet.
Mexico.
Oh, Mexico got rid of their police.
Yeah, well, three of the 5 deputies left,
Oh,
but I believe somebody from South Paris is coming over to fill in at the time.
wow. Okay.
So I see a spacing issue on the bottom of page 17, we'll fix the spacing issue, and that is where the typing stopped, because that was enough to get the code enforcement officer and the superintendent to take a look at it. What I can do is finish up the last section, which is Board of Appeals and the validity pieces, which are kind of short. I will do those in the next couple days and get those out to you guys just to take a look at.
So that last paragraph on 17 about the charges as granted by Title 38, Section 1208, is that still,
Oh, thank you, because I didn't,
is that still appropriate?
let's see. 38 MRS 1208. Collection of unpaid rates.
So it said the town shall have the same authority to and power to collect such services. I see some spacing issues with you there. Okay, so this is,
Sewers as well. Yeah.
so we've got sewer charges, needed to retire the debt service, sewer use rates, including readiness to serve. Select board reserves the right to change sewer use charges originally or previously assigned to any property owner. Sewer charges shall be committed to the town for collection in advance on a quarterly basis, shall be due and payable on the 31st. Blah, blah, blah. There shall be a lien on real estate served or benefited by municipal sewer and sewer disposal system to secure the payment of services. Secure the payment of service use charges duly established hereunder, which take precedence over all other claims on such real estate, excepting only claims on taxes. So we're in a secondary position after unpaid taxes. The town shall have the same authority and power to collect such service use charges. Should not be capitalized. As are granted by Title 38, Section 1208, to treasurers of sanitary sewer districts. So I think you just said that's correct, right? Title 38, Section 1208.
That is correct.
In addition to the lien established herein, the town may maintain a civil action against the parties so charged for the amount of said sewer use charge in any court competent to try the same. And in such action may recover the amount of the charge with legal interest on the same from the date of said charging costs. Okay. Let me get you what, well, page 18 is pretty short. It should only be one page. Let me, maybe we can get that done tonight. Shoot that over to you.
Did the select board have any comments on those, or they didn't on these those last sections? Okay.
I don't think, well, let's go take a look. Because so places where there were handwritten notations for us to take a look at in this document. All right. So we've got through all those permittable, oh, well, the permittable numbers. We don't think they changed. We will double check on those BODs. The next question was on the written changes. So
It's up to
under
them.
section 8, construction of a building sewers, the question there was about the penalties. So if a private contractor does not get the permit, we've already got penalty in it, so. So what if I use a contractor who has not been qualified authorized by the select board and who have obtained a permit from the select board? Well, contractors who have been qualified and authorized by the select board and who have obtained a permit from the select board. So if I install a sewer, I don't have a permit, or if you see a contractor who has somehow not been authorized by the select board, what's the penalty? Is there a penalty to that?
Wouldn't that be something they have to?
Well, we have penalties under section 11. Any person found to be violating any provision of this ordinance, except section 9, which is protecting from damage, shall be served by the town with written notice stating the nature of the violation, providing a reasonable time limit for a satisfactory correction thereof. So we don't define the penalties are defined under section 11. And the select board or the CEO, somebody would have to know that that contractor is not duly authorized. Is there a better way? Because I don't know that you would go to the select board to determine the viability of a contractor. That feels punitive.
I was gonna say the one instance. And it's not the same thing in a way as I know, I guess you call him a contractor in town, hooked a building into the sewer without anybody's knowledge or approval.
Right. That's a problem.
Yes.
Do you do it right? He or she. So if we go back to section 8, the construction of building sewers by private contractors would be restricted to contractors who, what kind of qualifications do they have to meet?
Yeah.
Could we say that who have been authorized by the licensed plumbing inspector, our licensed plumbing inspector, he's got to authorize that contractor? That feels like a better move than the select board.
Yeah, I think he would have a better knowledge. He would,
Maybe determined to be qualified and duly authorized by the licensed plumbing inspector. He said he likes it. He didn't know we were gonna make changes. And they obtained a permit from the town, the select board does not issue these permits, right? Yeah. Okay,
I couldn't find a town that used the phrases we were using for that, so.
all right.
Hmm.
So under protection from damages, the next section, section 3. Contractor must present a certificate of insurance showing minimum liability coverage of 300,000 for bodily, 200,000 for property damage. I think they wanted to check the amounts of that. I mean, I as a subcontractor for people, I provide $1 million worth of coverage to people all the time. Like that's just the standard. This feels like it might be low.
To me, that's an old figure.
Yeah.
Because of the way things are now.
Maybe there's something in Maine.
Requirement.
I have a friend in insurance, I can call her and say, hey, we're updating this, what would be it, when you typically issue a certificate of insurance for a plumbing installation, what are the amounts you put on that?
Cause I'm looking at the, property damage, collapse, underground, yeah. That could be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll check with, an official insurance agent, see what they have to say on that. The next comment is under penalties, again. Somebody likes to give them penalties. Any person found to be in violation, offender shall within the period of time stated such notice permanently cease all violations. Or what? I mean, the or what is everything else here, right? That said you're subject to prosecution. Can you say or be subject to prosecution?
This is in discussion section 9 still, or?
No, in section 11.
Section 11, okay.
11A. The offender shall, within the period of time stated in such notice, permanently cease all violations. Now, this to me sounds two different things. So if you're in violation, you get a note saying, hey, you're in violation, you have so many some reasonable time limit satisfactory correct that problem.
Mhm.
And then it says within that period of time stated in the notice, permanently cease all violations. Permanently does not feel like the right word there. If you're already said stop, you have 30 days or 90 days, whatever, to fix the problem within the period of time. Shall just cease all violations. I mean, I don't even know if that last sentence needs to be there. You get a notice.
Vinyl Haven has a similar thing, so.
Can we say upon receipt of the notice? Of written notice, cease all violations?
Well, this says the offender shall, within the period of time stated in the notice, permanently cease all violations. Vinyl Haven. That's kind of interesting.
Okay, I do feel like the word permanently there
Yeah.
doesn't fit right.
Well, I guess they're saying to
Oh, within
not
that
just
time-
stop.
Within that time period in the note. So if you've got 60 days to fix it, for those 60 days, you have to cease. Permanent, I mean. It's within that time frame, because the next thing says, if you continue a violation beyond that time limit. Blah, 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 you get these extra fines.
Yeah.
Okay, I can look at that,
I think I have your insurance numbers you need.
okay,
General liability insurance in Maine, you need 1 million per occurrence
mhm.
and 2 million aggregate.
Okay, so this is, it's minimum liability coverage for bodily damage and property, and another one for property damage.
Yeah, under the commercial side of it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I know I don't issue, I mean, when, no, people don't ask often, but when they do. My insurance company will give me a certificate of insurance and they always ask for a million.
Well, like I said, in this day and age, yeah.
Okay. All right, we've already addressed section B in that thing about the select board. Is the one who defines the fees. So section four, the next section. What, so this is the current, we want to know how they, sewer use charges, article D. And D, all sewer use charges shall be committed to the town for collection, so we can ask for what it said this was all changed, but we don't know what the latest requirements are.
I was gonna say. It's paper, I must have at home, where we got copies of the minutes from a select men's meeting when it was changed to the quarterly billing.
Okay, so I will look for that if you can look as well.
Yeah, because Brian, I remember Brian Jordan and Donna Hebert were two of the selectmen. Couldn't tell you the third one, but that registered with me.
Okay,
I also was wondering if on section 12, subsection D, where it says treasurer apostrophe S, that apostrophe is not supposed to be there, right? I don't think. And that could happen to any of us. I just figured I'd mention it.
well. Oh, yeah, plural, not, I think that's right, you're absolutely right, okay. Thank you. I think that's the last. So really, the only other thing is one, we got like 2 paragraphs, I'll get those typed in there and we'll get that right back out.
That's
Then we just have
great.
to look at the
Application.
applications. Oh. There were several pages of applications. Somebody, I think, had already retyped these. I'll look in my other pile of stuff, because I think we had these updated already. So there was at least 2, right? There's the industrial building sewer application, the residential, commercial. And those were issued originally by the state. I think in the
The
very beginning, it
applications.
said applications must follow the states.
Oh, well, that makes it easy.
All right. So we have a few follow-ups on 2 little pieces. I'll get that last paragraph there typed. I'll try to get that out today or tomorrow at the latest. Maybe you could look at it over the weekend so that we can get on the agenda for next week's select board meeting and give them a draft, something they could then send out to legal and start to take a look at.
Great.
One is almost done.
Yay.
Yay. Shall we take on the cemetery at the next meeting?
That wasn't too long, I think, right? As I recall, it wasn't.
No,
too-
very short, and the changes they have, we've already discussed them. I'll take the original and I'll type in what we think we've suggested for changes already. Which I'm sure won't be correct, but we can review it for the next time. Maybe if we have a little bit more time on our agenda at the next meeting, we could make sure everybody's got one.
Yeah, that's well.
Oh, that we should bring our binders, yeah.
Yes, and I did have on my note this week, next time I'm out, to get everybody a flash drive. Because the ones I have digitally, we can just give you all of them on the flash drive.
Yeah.
That's
I
easier.
almost think not, because I know if we need to make changes, it's easier than
Yeah,
thumbing through and whose binders updated and all that, so.
I still think we should have one here, and the town should have one, because they
Yeah,
get, apparently they don't have all the meeting minutes that we've been sending. So, I'm working on, I talked to Kathy with the list of what she's got and doesn't have. She doesn't have anything digitally.
well, would they give us a Canton email address? And the only reason why I'm asking is that, because we could then set up basically like a Google Drive. And we could upload all these into a drive and give them shared access to the drive. So if they need a copy of an ordinance, they can just log in, and pull it from the drive.
And then, of course, ultimately, and this is something that Michelle Larrabee, I think, did she comment on this besides just record that they'll have the ordinances to just click on?
Yeah.
You know, people can click
On the website is what she's
Yeah.
talking
Yeah.
about.
right on the website.
Yes,
If
but we've been
they're-
waiting over 7 years for that accessible website.
Yeah.
So,
But if we could do something like that, that would be easier, because then once the ordinances are done and signed. We can then just scan them and upload them to the drive and they're there. So
yes,
we do all of our stuff at work through like Google Drive, and it's awesome, because you can, if I need to get something and I'm home, I can log into it and get it. I don't put my computer at work or carry a flash drive around.
And ours would be editable and theirs would be view only, is that right?
You set permissions.
Not that they would do anything, but by accident, someone could hit a key or
Oh.
something,
Yeah.
oops.
Yeah,
No, you have it set up as admin only or read only,
Right,
and then no one can upload or change or modify any of the documents.
and who would set us up?
We
Will you
could,
do it,
if
or-
we had a Canton email address, like whatever their emails are, if it's through.
you could have
Google,
planning board at
Yeah,
cantonme.com,
Yeah.
like
Right.
everybody else.
I don't know if their email is powered through by Google. Or
I
if
don't
it's some
know either.
other company like GoDaddy.
Hmm.
But
I'm not
we
sure.
could set up, we
we
could
could
set
ask,
up.
ask the chair that, I'm sure he,
I can ask Brian,
yeah,
and then we can give all of them access to it. And. Yeah, it'd be easier.
It's in the interim until we have a website where people can get them.
Yep.
Blah, 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 blah.
And if they had a website, you could designate the website to have a clickable link that would get them into that Google Drive with the drop downs.
And I wonder, are we going to have, is it just going to be like in a PDF version, or are we going to put it like in a, I don't know, well, I don't want to say HTML, but I guess they could just click in it and do the search within, because we're gonna give them the PDF that they can search through, a searchable PDF, right? When we're
I
all
think
done.
PDF would be the best way to do it, because that one you can then lock down and not allow it to be editable.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're official too.
on some
Right.
of those drives, like in Google Drives, can I download a PDF and then convert it myself?
Probably,
It could.
Mhm.
Okay.
But it'll be interesting because, well, the PDFs can pick up on words now anyway, because I'm imagining they would scan the signed version, right? So,
All right, before you got here, we also have an updated, we have a report from the code enforcement officer as of August 31st, all the permits issued this year.
Good.
Printed report, which is very nice. Is there anything else? All right, so next session, we'll work on cemetery.
yes,
Do we want to? Let me try to have a draft of the comp plan. That's big, but let's look at that with the next one. So that'll be two things.
so can we put that on our agenda for new business cemetery and, cause I've gotten questioned, well, what's that mean? And I'm like, well, we're working on this. But if we put it on our agenda, then say Joe Schmo has input about cemetery, they would know that was definitely what we were gonna talk about.
Yep. Absolutely.
The comp plan or whatever.
Cool.
I'll shoot Brian a message about. The email address situation, I can't come to the select board meeting next Thursday to ask them about that. So I'm assuming Brian is the one that's in charge of that.
Wait, I think if you copy, what I've been doing is copying the whole select board and the town office. Everybody gets all the information at the same time because there's been pockets of information.
Right.
We just copy them all and
Right.
say, hey, we're considering this approach, make
Well,
ordinances more readily accessible to the public.
right. And that, I mean, as it is now, like we're using our personal emails to do all this stuff. So even if we all just had access to the one, planning board at Canton, or whatever it is.
Well, you can have that, you can tailor that, because like right now, the Lake and Essex Board of Directors, right, you type, I think, board at whatever it is, and it comes to all the board members automatically,
Right.
so. I don't have to have a separate email for that. And they've got one for membership, and they've got one for.
just label which you're sending from, right?
Well, no, I could email membership at lakeandessex.org, and I
Oh.
get the membership committee, it automatically goes to everybody on the committee from one email,
That is good, yeah.
Yeah.
so easy. I'm sure Westbury can set us up. I make a motion to adjourn this meeting at 7:50.
I second.
All those in favor?
Thank you. Let me stop the recording.
Oh, she also gave us this.